Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, today is the first episode of a weekly Monday stream that I will be doing for the next 6 weeks called Monday Mayhem, where I am going to be discussing the Sharknado movies. Today is the first one, next week will be the second, and so on. And I'm going to be watching movies that are basically so bad that you can't help but like them. Now, before I get started, make sure that you tune in tomorrow morning, or no, afternoon, for my mystery review. It is the best 90s martial arts film, Art Lean, and I Don't Think So are the hints. So make sure you tune in for that, 1:30 in the afternoon Eastern Time. Also, Sundays, like yesterday or last night, I did Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We will be discussing next Sunday Spider-Man Homecoming as part of MCU Infinity Saga Sundays. And tomorrow night, I will be on the Barroom Podcast, where we are discussing all sorts of Hollywood craziness with Society Reviews on his channel and the rest of the Barroom panel. So without further ado, let's say hello to the chat. Also, folks, before I do get started on that, make sure you smash the like button, or rather take a bite out of that like button. So also share the stream out. If you like, or if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. It's all appreciated. As well as check out my numerous playlists, my mystery reviews. I have over 100 of them, so I could always use the extra added watch time. And yeah. Alrighty, without further ado, if you're catching this on the replay, leave a like. So, Sharknado. And let's say hello to Vanya. Thank you for tuning in. The acclaimed, award-winning, world-renowned Sharknado, right? Now, folks, this movie is by no stretch a masterpiece. It is a movie that went way overboard, pun intended. This movie begins by showing a tornado forming in the ocean, and you see sharks just trying to swim away from it as fast as they can. They end up getting swiped up, and that's the birth of the Sharknado. So then you see a bunch of shark fin hunters slicing off fins, tossing the carcasses back. And this is how bad the acting is. The guy kills the negotiator. And I'm thinking to myself, or rather, the guy who is the negotiator gets eaten because he wants to set up an enterprise. But because all the sharks are freaking out in the ocean, they start jumping on boats and stuff to get away from the tornado. And, well, people are getting eaten left and right. And the digital effects of this movie are just so freaking bad. I mean, this movie was done in, I think 2013 or 2014. Let me do a small check. Sharknado 1. It was 2013. Okay. So, yeah, it was 2013. And it stars Tara Reid was the only name that I recognized that was a big actor, or rather a B-rate actor. Let me check the cast for Sharknado. So we got Tara Reid as April, Ian Ziering as Finn, who is the hero of the movie, John Hurd as George, Cassandra Serbo as Nova, Jason Simmons as Baz Hogan, or Jocelyn Simmons as Baz Hogan, Alex R. Leo as Bobby, Neil H. Burko as Carl Hubert, and Heather Jocelyn Blair as Candace. Now, folks, there's a lot wrong with this movie, plus there's some enjoyable things in it. But it's the hilarity of the absolutely insane shit that just goes on in this movie that really just makes it, it's like, oh my God, this is so ridiculous. So, and then there's acting that is just so bad that it makes you wonder, what did this dude do? So, a gunfight on a small boat, and then after the boat gets caught up into a tornado, they have the Sharknado title, basically kind of like Twister, where Twister has the letters hit and then it's blown away from the tornado. And I gotta say, it was freaking insane. So we then get to the beach and an intro to Finn and Baz, who are seeing unusual weather. And we then hear that there's a hurricane on the way. An intro to other characters that I'm sorry, folks. A lot of these characters I don't remember the names of at first. I had to watch the film multiple times just to remember the names. But I have it in my talking points here that I didn't even remember the names for most of them. I kept on calling Tara Reid's character Tara because I couldn't remember her name was April. So we then hold on one second, folks. All right. We then are introduced to, or we see the sharks start to come up to the beach and are attacking everybody in the water. We see a surfer board or a surfer girl with Finn out there, and she ends up getting attacked and eaten up. I mean, this movie it's a sci-fi movie, folks, from the Sci-Fi Channel. Not the Sci-Fi Channel that we all knew and loved back when it was spelled SCI dash or hyphen FI. No, this is the SYFY. This is that Sci-Fi Channel, which was way worse. I mean, back then, during the original Sci-Fi spelling, you actually had movies that were actually pretty good. But now it's just absolute. They don't even attempt to hide the stupidity. I mean, you get some pretty folks. There are some pretty crazy books out there, and hold on one second. So yeah, and we see one dude get his arm or his leg bitten off by a shark, and it's like usually takes a bit to get that person or to get a leg bitten off, but whatever. I mean, it is just they go good with the practical effects, but the digital effects were just so badly done. I mean, you also get the cheesy Aussie jokes. This movie has no compunction of showing the bad practical effects too, where you could tell that it's prosthetic. It is just honestly, I mean, I'm reviewing this movie and I'm thinking to myself, oh dear God, this is just horrible, but I can't stop liking it, you know? So then we get Ian's bartender. She likes him, Nova. She likes him. And she's like, or he's like, I'm your boss. And she's like, I don't care. And I was like, yeah, no good, dude. He's kind of hung up on somebody else. And then they go with the global warming. That the reason why there's unusual weather is because global warming. And I'm like, well, I mean, if this was supposed to be some sort of agenda-driven nonsense, which it wasn't, this would be the worst movie to put that bullshit in there, because this movie is just so bullshit, and I heard from special features of the second Sharknado movie that the reason why they wanted to tell a story about global warming and raise awareness, and it's like, you told the most absurd movie possible, the most absurd story possible, and you added global warming, which is only going to make global warming sound absurd. So horrible, so funny, it's so bad, it's good. Hey, nerd with a cigar, always good to see you, Kate. And yes, you are absolutely right. Smash that like, folks, or take a bite out of the like. And then we get introduced to Tara Reid, the ex-wife to Ian's character, Finn, and she just really hates him. She's like, don't call her again, Yana. Bad acting, folks. So then sharks start coming in with the big waves, panic scenes where a shark just busts through the window into the bar. And I absolutely love how people start freaking out, but Nova keeps cool head and just kills the fucker. And it's like, this woman has a lot of hate in her. Wonder what's going on. And we get the Jaws tribute with an air tank being thrown into Shark's mouth and then somebody shooting it. And it's like, are you friggin' kidding me? And then we get an unhinged Ferris wheel that comes unhitched and starts chasing everybody leaving the pier. And I'm thinking to myself, why the hell was a Ferris wheel out there to begin with on the pier? Makes no sense. But hey, it's a movie, you know? So after the aftermath, we see his business is basically gone under. He had no insurance because they don't usually get hurricanes coming in that way. And so Ian wants to go check on his family, his daughter and his wife, or ex-wife. So everybody decides to coop up into his vehicle, and we see that the streets are flooded and sharks are in the streets. And they mention Shark Week and all sorts of stuff. Sharknado or Monday Mayhem suggestion for the future in the same vein as this movie, Sharks of the Corn. It's as bad as it sounds, but fun to laugh at. I will have to check that out if I can. If I can find it, I will check it out. But I'm actually covering all 6 of the Sharknado movies in the coming weeks, nerdy. So definitely check it out. So also, folks, I got my mom to watch this movie. And folks, when it comes to my mom, she's a real stickler for movies. She was laughing her ass off at the ridiculousness of this movie. She's like, oh my God, this is just so bad. I can't stop laughing. And it's like, I didn't expect her to actually want to watch the second one. So she's like, put on the second one. Let's see how bad it is. And she ended up liking the movies. She ends up liking these movies. It's like, it's just so bad. It's good, you know? And it's like, holy crap, dude. So George the Drunk, or the different characters are like George the Drunk, Baz the Aussie, Nova is the obsessed with her boss, bartender, and Ian the hero. So they they need to get up to the 405. The highway is now flooded and sharks are everywhere, eating everyone outside of the vehicle. So he has to go play hero. The drunk George goes to save a dog, and then he ends up getting eaten. So it's like, thank God that dude died, because he was just always hitting on the bartender, and it's like, she's never gonna fuck you, dude. You know, it's one of those situations where a lot of people like to put on Twitter, they're never going to have sex with you. That's basically that situation there. And so they have to escape Beverly Hills, before I get there. You see how Ian times the waves. Waves always come in threes. So he beats the waves to get through the highway and whatnot. And we then see sharks start falling from the skies. sharks on rooftops, no, seriously, folks, on helipads on the tall buildings in LA, sharks are on those buildings, slowly dying, wiggling around and whatnot. And I'm thinking to myself, this is more of an apocalyptic movie if you think about it, because it's just that ridiculous, you know? So, we then see that sharks are coming out of runoff drains, and they're coming out of the sewers. And then we learn more family drama when they show up at the ex's house, and the house starts flooding for some weird reason. Don't ask me why. There's a shark in their pool, but the rest of the house fills up with water on the first floor, and somehow a shark gets into the house. I don't get it, but you're not supposed to. So, you then see the asshole boyfriend of the ex-wife come out, and he's just so much of an asshole that he gets eaten. Sorry about that, folks. I have bad internet because we have a piece of shit router. Anyway, let me just put that in the chat. iFrames. Yep. Internet problems, folks. Sorry. So yeah, the the stepdad character of the daughter and the husband of the ex-wife gets killed like 10 minutes after, because he's that much of an asshole. And so we then get the sharks in a flooded house for no weird reason. And we also learn that the daughter hates her father. No explanation why yet, but yeah. So we then hear that there's a mention of a son. I believe the son's name is Matt or something. And so they have to escape Beverly Hills. So they get out of the house that's flooded after they kill a shark in there. And the ridiculousness of a shark apocalypse, folks. The daughter just makes herself sound more like a cunt, always basically bothering her dad, complaining about her dad and whatnot. Hey, Cayman Rider, good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. And then we see them stopping because they see a bus that's full of kids, and Finn, he gets bitched at by his wife. It's like, you never cared about us. You're always playing the hero. It's like, what would you do if there were people in need and you had a way to save them? I'm sorry, but I would actually go and save them. That's just me, folks. I'm that kind of person. And so we then find out that the teacher, if you have all seen Naruto and Shippuden, Choji, the voice of Choji is the teacher. And my God, this dude he's kind of a heavy set and whatnot. And we get the kids safe, or all the kids are safe. They're brought up onto the bridge, and the weather gets so bad that it rips up the Hollywood sign. And you see them literally dodging the letters from the Hollywood sign. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what next? Because I automatically know that somebody's about to die from a Hollywood letter. And so after they're all dead, or they all survive, rather, you get Choji guy saying, my mama always said that Hollywood would kill me. Boom! The freaking one of the words or one of the letters crushes the guy. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is just nuts. So, yeah. We then see more Sharknadoes building up. And you can actually see from a distance sharks swirling up in these things. This is how bad the special effects are, folks. And we then see a shark is on the car roof that they are trying to get off of the vehicle, but they can't because now they're smelling leaky gas, so they have to run away from the car because of a gas leak. And without any sort of spark or whatever, boom, the car blows up. Just don't question it, you know? So we then hear, or they get to the store, this outlet store, and you see that the guy who is running the store is this major conspiracy theorist. It's the government, man. Sharks, I never saw that coming. They're responsible for everything, dude. It's like, oh God, somebody shut him up. And so they take a Humvee, folks. They take a Humvee that has a nitrous system built in. Why? I don't know. But it was from a car dealership. A car dealership selling a Humvee with illegal modifications. Don't question it. Don't question it. Just roll with it. Pun intended. And so they're trying to get through a certain area. Well, the police have that area cordoned off. So they just burst through it. And it leads to a car or to a cop chase. And I'm thinking, what next, Tom Cruise? I mean, this movie is just so bad. It's good, folks. Like I said, it's so bad, it's good. And they use the nitro boost. They get away from the cops. They get to their son's or the son's airfield place, and the boss of his son gets sucked out of the place where they were taking shelter. Like literally, she's standing here. She then goes up through the roof in a huge arc like that, and I'm like, right, that just happened. And then they come up with the most idiotic way to stop to save this day, to save the day, folks. Are you ready? They're going to bomb a tornado from a helicopter. And I'm thinking to myself, right, you guys are going to ride up to a helicopter. Here's the tornado. Here's the little helicopter. And they throw bombs into it. Propane-fueled bombs to introduce heat to cancel out the tornado. And it actually freaking works in the movie. And I'm thinking to myself, you got 2 out of 3. And then you see Nova goes up with the boy or with the son. She has a crush on the boy, or she has a crush on the boss. And you also see that there's jealousy with Tara Reid, the ex-wife, and I'm thinking to myself, oh dear God, really? So I'm thinking to myself, when is Tara gonna, or when is Nova gonna bite it? She gets eaten eaten whole by a shark because she falls out of the helicopter and a shark just happens to be swinging by and just eats her. And I'm thinking to myself, that sucks. I liked her character. Come on now. Well, folks, likable characters don't die. Let's just say that. Likable characters don't die. But she got eaten by or a shark. But while they're at a surplus store making these bombs up, you hear her tell a story, and it ends with "and the sharks took the rest," which is another Jaws quote. Baz, the Australian, is thinking up a plan B to run the Hummer into a tornado with a big bomb, or with a bomb that he made, just in case plan A doesn't work with the helicopters. And I'm thinking to myself, geez, man. The news reporter ends up getting eaten by a shark on the news, it's like, oh my God, finally that bitch is dead. And then you see the second tornado go down, and then you see Nova get eaten from the helicopter and Matt survives a rough landing as the helicopter crashes. So it's like, oh geez, really? And so Ian takes the Hummer after the tornado number 3 and pulls a twister. He sets it on cruise control, drives the bombs, and the Hummer jumps from it so it launches up into the tornado. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. So then a giant white shark, or a giant great white, is coming at him, and he jumps into it, getting eaten by it with a giant chainsaw. And I'm thinking to myself, right, this dude is dead. Well, no, he cuts himself out of the shark. And it's like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Folks, he cuts himself out. He's alive somehow, covered with blood and guts and stuff. And then he pulls out Nova. Apparently, this shark was hanging around in that tornado this entire time, and she didn't suffocate. Don't question it. So it's like, oh my God. So she's alive. And Matt ends up kissing Nova. And Nova ends up with Matt, even though she was in love with Matt's father originally. But now the exes are not exes, and they kiss each other. And they then look off at all the ruin of LA from the Sharknado, and then they roll credits. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, that was the most ridiculous movie ever, but I freaking love it. And folks, no joke, this movie spawned a freaking 6-movie run, which I will be covering them for about half an hour to an hour, depending on how long I get into talking about these things. But yeah, this one, it only took about half an hour. So yeah, how would I rate Sharknado? Objectively, this movie is a 3. You got some good acting. You got some you got some skin in this movie. Decent skinage. The story is freaking outlandish. The daughter is such a fucking cunt. It's like, why couldn't she just die? Why couldn't a shark just eat that bitch, you know? But nope. Yeah, I know I said a few gamer words. But yeah, this movie is just that ridiculous. And I love it. Subjectively, I put this movie at about a 7. I'm all for these movies. It's like, oh my God, you need some ridiculous sometimes, but that level of ridiculous is just beyond ridiculous. You know? Moviegoer, if these are pure turn your brain off movies, don't question, they're pure turn your brain off movies. So yeah, Sharknado moviegoer is about an 8 or a 9. I would put it up there because it's just like, oh my god, you're just laughing during the whole time of all of this insanity. And believe me, folks, when I say that the second movie gets even more insane, the second movie gets even more insane. But you'll have to wait a week to hear what I got to say about that one. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Cayman Rider, Nerd with a Cigar, Vanya. Oh my God, folks, this was such a great, just trippy ass movie. And I really enjoyed it. So remember, stay tuned for tomorrow afternoon's mystery review. I'm pretty sure most people guessed it by now. It's the best 90s martial arts movie. And a quote from it, I don't think so. As well as a character named Art Lean. So yeah, pay attention. You might know it, you might not. Don't spoil it. And thank you to everybody in the chat. If you like this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, folks. What did you think of Sharknado 1? Did you like it? Did you not? Did you enjoy the insanity? Let me know. Anyway, folks, this has been Orange Hat Reviews. Have a wonderful day. And always remember, stay humble.